Alrighty, well, when you guys get this video, this will be the video you've been waiting for. It's early in the morning, it's super cold here, it's about 72 degrees. We just took off our long johns and still have lots to do on it. We are excited to get rid of it and get it out of the yard so we can move on to other stuff. Today we're going to be messing with radiators, we're going to be messing with electrical, more electrical, headlights, tail lights. Dash pads, going to get a dash pad put in today, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. We are going to finish it. Don't worry about that. Welcome aboard today. Let's rock and roll.
Okay guys, so that's what she looks like without a dash pad. Here is our new one. Look at that beautiful thing. Ooh, shiny. It's on the inside here. There's bolts right here. And in the top, zoink, 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 zoink. All the other ones are pretty easy to get out, as long as your glove box is out, but the ends are the hardest ones. Okay guys, let's check the dash pad out. Looks pretty good. Look at that shiny thing right there. Oh, what do you think? Looks pretty good. And like I said, there's the 3/8 nuts on the inside, and how I put this on there was I loaded it like this and then down. Yeah, and they're just hand tight. Like I said, they're actually not a nut per se, but I used just a socket and just put it in there by hand. It's not like it's doing 100 mile an hour, but anyway, there's that. And then to polish the dashboard. Ooh. Before I put the dash cluster back in, I need to make my oil line, and and I want to check the wiring out back. It's just easier if I have to mess with something when the dash cluster's out. Okay guys, I've never done this before, so we'll find out. So we wanted to use the original oil pressure gauge for the new LS. On the side of the oil pan, you'll see something like this. So what I did was I'd bought one of those oil pressure line kits, but it's a copper line. I didn't want to mess with plastic, because plastic fatigues over time, engine heat, stuff like that. I didn't even want to mess with any of that. So oil pressure gauge inside the truck is like that. Well, you can't find a fitting like that at your normal hardware store. So what I did was I went ahead and took a cutoff wheel and I ground that off, and then took the end off. Then I put it on the new copper tubing like that. And my biggest concern was, because inside here, when you put these together, there's something called a ferrule, and when you tighten it down, that collar gets crushed against the tubing, and I didn't know if that was going to work in this respect, but I think it does, because when I crimped it, I took this part and actually screwed it into the gauge, tightened everything up, and it actually ended up making a ferrule on the end of the line. So that's a pretty neat trick. If it works, we can make money doing it. Anyway, so now there's that. This whole line here, this whole line goes out of from the gauge through the firewall, down the firewall, around the exhaust, up against the bell housing, and then curly cues to that fitting that goes on the oil pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in there, and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, our oil line's done. I'll show you that in a second here. What I'm gonna do is made sure my brake stuff is tight. That's all tight. Switch is good and it's in. Here's our wiper stuff. So anyway, now I'm gonna go ahead and put the dash cluster back in, and then I'll show you guys what I ended up doing on the engine for the oil line. Came out all right. All right, there's our oil line. This is our bulkhead for the dash to make the gauges work and stuff like that. This is also dash lighting and turn signal indicators, all that stuff. Let's go pull this back and take this, and we'll go whee. Getting ahead of myself here. I'll pull the headlight switch. Whoop-a-doo-ba-doo. Alright, I'm gonna have to wait for that. Zoink, do-do-do. Come on, get in there. Before I tighten any of that up, let's make sure you're wearing bulkhead. Tighten this up here. And this here Chevy these clusters aren't too bad, but like I was saying earlier, like on Ben's truck, you get to the earlier girls and that clusters, man, sometimes it really wants to fight you. Wants to fight you. Alright. Oh, you chee-chee bang bang. Chee-chee bang bang, we love you. Hey oh, chee-chee bang bang. Chee-chee bang bang loves us too. Our fine four-fingered friend. That one. Leave I drop the other one. Alright. Hey, it fits. Yay! Okay. And now, let's go ahead and take this guy here. Put our bezels on. Bezels. And that will go right there. So sorry guys, there's your choke that's connected to nothing. Boink. Oh no! That's okay. You know what? It's your parachute. Okay. Never mind, skis. Hi guys, it's me again. When we had got in the truck, I'd noticed there was a rivet in the shifter. Sometimes something's wrong, sometimes something's not. Anyway, you see where this bolt is right here? That bolt. There's usually a pin, and it's called an expansion pin. The expansion pin's like a tube with a slice in it. So I'm going to have to retrieve one of those. I'm going to go ahead and pull this pin out. Zoink. And now, boop. Oh no! Kind of neat fancy thing. There's your pin. And this guy locks into, I don't know if you can see in there. Anyway, there's a ball, there's a socket in there that ball goes into. It's just a rod that goes down. It pushes the selector that's at the base of the column. It pushes it out of a lock position. That's all it is, nothing fancy. The column's in such good shape, I'd rather try to use an expansion pin if possible, because that's what the factory did. So anyway, I got to retrieve one of those, but I just want to show you that there. And after this, after we get the shifter fixed here, I'm going to put the horn ring back on. I'm going to put the horn ring back on this guy right here. And then I'm going to go out back and work on some wiring. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye. Alright guys. I want to show you something here. So all I'm doing is I'm just WD-ing foring the slide inside there, and I'll show you at the outside here in a second. But what that's for is so it locks it into park. There's reverse, neutral, drive. But see how it stops? And you have to pull back on the shifter again. That keeps it from you jamming it in low gear. Anyway, so it doesn't fall into gear. And I'll show you how it's doing that. So if you see here, this lever here, there's a flat and then a rib and then a flat, right? So when you pull that shifter, it actually pulls this down, so it'll clear all that stuff. So the column is good shape. Just have to get an expansion pin for the shifter. Okay, I'm gonna go get a pin. Okay guys, so I was wrong. I was corrected. It's a tension pin, not an expansion pin. Anyway, this is how this is gonna work. You can see there's a little slice in that thing. And what happens is that relief, when you drive it into something, that relief actually gets squished down and it keeps tension on it. This is the idea. Shifter goes in, zoink, then that pin gets driven up through there. Originally I would have had something like that. So anyway, this should work okay. So hang on, let's do something. Okay guys, I got that pin started in there, and now I just got to finish it. Gotta get a little brutal. Little brutal. Oh, look at that. Like a dream. Yep, we're gonna lube it up a little bit. Some www. So now let's I'm gonna kind of clean up the column a little bit and move on to something else. I don't think I'm quite ready for the shifter yet, or for the shifter rod. Went ahead and rewired the back of the lights here. I'll show you what I got here. All right, that's the right rear. Here's our running light. Yay! Off seas. Brake light. Yay! Okay. Here's your taillight lens. And you'll see that the this round part, this is a reflector part, just goes on the bottom. Just something like that. And I don't know what it is, but these lenses almost never fit. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're not crooked or something like that. I just don't know why they don't fit. So don't be surprised if even on your brand new stuff you have to fight it. And of course this one goes right in because it's on camera. Alright. There's one lenso. Let's do two lensos. Come here, you. Stop and listen to something I'm saying. Honk, honk. Yes, if you haven't noticed already, I'm pretty easily entertained. So there's that. Let's do something else.
All right, I get home from work. What does Tommy do? Puts me to work. The radiator showed up today, and this is our permanent solution to the radiator mounts. Check it out. The radiator came from Speedway Motors. You like these permanent mounts here. Now that's just strapped in so that we can make the appropriate mounts, because every time they send us something that says it's for a 67 to 72 Chevy truck, it doesn't work. You see here, this is a stock factory mount. It's completely off. It's not even close. So we're going to build a new mount up. We're going to build a new mount up here on top so we can get that thing installed, and we'll get our electric fan installed on it and our separate transmission cooler, and we'll get this girl rocking and rolling down the road.
Just as a reminder, we're going to the No Name Nationals, and we're running against a guy from Poor Boy Garage.
Poor Boys Garage. They're out of North Carolina, and they are running a 1969 Roadrunner, and it's beautiful. So if you go on their website, or not their website, if you go on their YouTube channel, Poor Boys Garage, and look at their yellow 69 Roadrunner, that's who we're going to be racing. So we decided to do it because it's Mopar against Chevy. It is a young man against an old man, or old man, and he's not as old as I am, but, and Brad, who's the guy who's there, he claims a good-looking guy against an ugly guy. I don't know if I agree with him on that. Anyway, look him up on YouTube. Poor Boys Garage. Send a comment to them. Let them know that we're going to kick their butt. What did we get accomplished today? I know that the radiator finally showed up, and we have that mocked up right now. I just did that just a little while ago, and we're going to build some brackets to get that put in. But what else happened?
We got our headlight buckets. The headlights are done. We took the dash cluster out. We ended up changing some switches, the headlight and the high beam. We fixed some wiring in there. We also made a really fancy oil cooler, or oil pressure line. You guys will see that on there. We also learned how to fix a shifter. The only reason why we bothered with fixing the column in this was that it's just in such pristine condition. You can't just wreck something like that. So anyway, got that. We got some taillight wiring done, and the list is dwindling fast.
We could not find an upholsterer who could do anything for less than $600 or $800 and take 2 weeks. So we have ordered up a nice little, they don't call them Mexican blankets anymore. I guess that offends people. I don't know why. That's always been what it's been called before, but now they're called Baja blankets, just for the politically correct. So we're buying a Baja blanket seat cover. It's actually going to fit decent, and when you guys get your $1 million, you can go get the seat upholstered. But anyway, Tommy did a ton today. I did a little bit today. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for coming by, and as always, thanks for watching. We're getting better.